Spiderman is back with Disney. We retire some Animal Kingdom attractions, and Dustin defends his King of the Castle title in a cheerfully earful way. All this and more on today's episode of the We Like Theme Parks podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present a spectacular festival of theme park audio commentary magic. The We Like Theme Parks podcast.
Yo. Bring it back now.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Welcome, my fellow theme parkers, to the We Like Theme Parks podcast, your go-to spot for news, opinions, and other nerdy fun happenings in and around the Disney and Universal theme parks. I'm Chris Bond, hey-ho, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Disney and Universal insider, photographer, and travel journalist from StepsToMagic.com, and the co-host of the Universal Joint podcast, Dustin Fuhs,
Congaloosh.
and comedian, theme park nerd, and the heart of the Ghostbusters, Mark Andrada.
Which one was the heart of the Ghostbusters?
Ray Stantz.
Okay, I'll take it.
But today,
I gotta change chairs. Listen to this.
creaky.
The heart of the Ghostbusters, everybody.
Out of the Ghostbusters on a creaky chair.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're actually in a fun spot today. Last week we were in our studio, but today we're in our satellite studio in a super fun spot. We're kind of in a theater. It's very cool. Are we moving around chairs? Are we playing musical chairs? I'll just keep going. All right. So yeah, well, nobody's on a microphone but me, so I'll just talk. So Chris, how was your weekend? Oh, it was good. I went on like a safari expedition kind of in my town, and an ostrich attacked my car, but then I was corrected by Dustin. Apparently it was an emu.
Yeah, that's why.
So I don't know the difference between those big birds. My bad. So maybe it's time for some Insta shoutouts with T Public.
T Public presents Insta Shoutouts.
All right, Insta shout out time. Two friends we want to say hello to. Our newest friend at Theme Park Metal. That's right. What? Theme Park Metal. If you're into theme parks from a rock and roll perspective, check out at Theme Park Metal. He's a cool guy. Love his stuff. He's super fun. Also, I want to give another shout out to our friends at the Churro Fund. They gave us a great shout out. Apparently today is National Podcast Day.
Yeah, you took mine. Mine was going to be the Churro Fund.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we both have Churro Fund.
Okay, we'll tell you what. We'll just delete mine. You go ahead.
No.
No, just do it.
This was fun.
Yeah, but you can cut mine.
Oh.
I just cut it and I do. Okay. Hey, Mark, you got one?
Yeah, the Churro Fund.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Did you see what they posted about us?
Yeah.
Well, tell us what it was.
No, you tell them.
All right.
You do the heavy lifting here.
I do. Well, apparently it's.
Apparently they posted it's National Podcast
yeah.
Day.
I had no idea.
See what I did?
Yeah.
This is being a menace to
It's
you.
the worst. I'm having a fun time.
He's not smiling when he says that. I want everybody at home to know.
I am smiling.
I'm having a fun time through gritted teeth.
See, it sounds different. You can tell that Mark is acting, using his powers for acting.
Acting, thank you. My shout-out's Madame Disney 999.
Oh.
Registered nurse, Disneyland Resort annual pass holder, Disney foodie, aspiring happy haunt.
Oh, that's nice.
There's only one spot left, so
I
she
know,
might have
right?
a lock on it. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of anyone that does food photos. One of the photos that she posted was her with a churro. So I am a big fan of that kind of thing. So Madame Disney 999, thank you for following us.
And thank you for showing us your churros. I love food pics. Food pic me all day long.
Yeah, that's your whole vibe.
Yeah.
That's a big part of my vibe.
Food pics and emu photos.
Yeah, there's a picture of this emu. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a photo of some food I saw recently that just blew my mind.
Well, did I show you any of the photos from our last trip? You know, there's the Be Our Guest photos.
No,
there's all the
something one of
Victoria and
our
Albert's
fans put up.
ones.
No, I'm not
No?
into the fancy stuff. I like all the dirty stuff. You
Do
know?
you, do you remember that
like somebody
photo
put a
of
picture
the,
of it's like
the
a
bacon
drink,
slab?
a drink with a piece of like funfetti cake on top
Oh,
of it.
it's gonna be
It's like a
amazing. Yep.
milkshake. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Those are always too much for me. I can't
Yeah,
have those.
Perfect size
it's,
for me.
It's a great
Perfect.
photo,
Yeah.
but I always
But
feel
I don't
like
want to eat it after.
Yeah.
I would want to share that with you, Mark. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, I'll share one with you. Yeah.
That'd be delightful.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I'm in.
I just don't know I could do a whole one and then I'm just not going to feel good.
Oh, no. We can share. We can eat at the same time.
I'm into this.
Okay.
Everything you're saying, I'm into this.
All right, maybe we'll get into some news.
News with Foos.
All right, so we've got a couple of big news items coming out of Walt Disney World and Universal.
Oh yeah, we got to get that sound effect.
Oh, we should.
I think I've got that on my computer. I'll send it to you guys.
Will young people know what that is, though?
They
Okay,
don't need
cool.
to know what it is.
Yeah,
These young people
kids nowadays.
make us sound old. We're
Yeah.
not that old, are we?
a little bit.
We're not. All right, so news. What's
All
happening?
right, so we've got a couple. So it's Disney parks bringing plant-based food items to Walt Disney World and Disneyland.
Oh, great.
We're bringing a little bit of news from Jurassic World 3.
Okay.
And there's been a little bit of a, how would we say it, Spiderman development.
What?
Exactly. So that's all coming in the news. But we're going to start out with the Disney parks bringing their plant-based food items. So Disney's going to be offering more than 400 plant-based food items at Walt Disney World and in Disneyland. So these are food items that are free of meat, dairy, eggs, or honey.
Or flavor.
Or flavor.
No,
or
don't say
personality.
that.
No, I'm joking. And
I
as
haven't tried this stuff yet.
well,
Oh,
it's
there's
I
some
know it's
really great-
around.
there's
Yeah.
some
it's
really
coming
great
out. The
places.
rollout comes out on October 1st. So by the time you listen to this, you'll have seen this.
There'll be fake meat.
So we're looking at quick service restaurants, table service locations will have new options starting within the same week. And then Disneyland Resort will be launching their new items next spring.
Cool.
So this has actually gotten a lot of play on big news sites, so CNBC to the financial news. Everyone's talking about how Disney is taking advantage of the situation that they want to bring theme park food into a different level. And for someone like us, we can go down, we can eat whatever we want. But as you start looking at dietary restrictions and dietary sensitivities, there's always been a lack of options. And like veggie burgers have always been the same veggie patty.
Ugh.
And it's always like, it just doesn't taste good. So I have this background because although I can eat bacon with a side of bacon on top of bacon, my partner Jill is vegetarian. So when we're going down and finding out where we want to eat, there's a lot of, well, you can have a salad or you can have a chicken salad, just ask for it without chicken. And it's not the same.
And you
It's
still
not
pay.
fun.
And you still pay for the chicken salad.
Exactly.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Bummer.
Does Jill? Tell me if I'm getting too personal. Does Jill eat cheese?
Jill does eat cheese.
So cheese and eggs, she's okay.
Cheese and egg. So she's a
So
vegetarian.
she's vegetarian,
not
not vegan. Okay.
But
Just
the nice
clearing
thing
it.
with the vegan side of things is that we're now talking about the word vegan not being utilized to describe these food items.
Yeah, because there's such a bad connotation with the word vegan.
Exactly.
People hear vegan and they think exactly what you said. Oh, lack of flavor. It's not going to be like it's gonna
Yes.
be cardboard.
Yep.
It's not going to be good.
Yep.
So they're going for plant-based.
Yeah,
as opposed
plant-based,
to-
and some of the things are going to be things like hot dogs, burgers, sandwiches,
Yeah.
or sausages. They're also going to be bringing out new veggie burgers. Some of the things that they talked about were things like a hot link smokehouse sandwich at Animal Kingdom,
Say that again slowly.
and a maple chipotle barbecue braised jackfruit dip at the Wilderness Lodge.
Ooh, jackfruit.
So
Chris is making a face like jackfruit, bad jackfruit.
No,
I'm
I-
making a face like jackfruit, good.
I'm making a
jackfruit.
face like I don't know what jackfruit is.
Yeah, jackfruit's great. I've had a quote unquote pulled pork sandwich
Yeah.
made from jackfruit.
Okay.
Great time.
Really?
So good. I just don't love that they keep calling things like after an animal that it isn't.
Yeah.
Just call it what it is. It's jackfruit.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell me that it's pork in order for me to understand. Like, just call it a pulled jackfruit sandwich. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be
Could you call it inspired by pulled pork, or you
I guess
could
you
say
could.
a la pulled pork?
Inspired by. It's like a karaoke track.
totally, yeah.
Inspired.
Inspired by
You'll be singing "Sweet
pulled pork.
Caroline" as inspired by
ba, ba, ba.
Elton John. Whoa,
I
wait a
love it.
minute. What's this version?
What is this? Oh, it's jackfruit. Now I understand.
Yeah.
You know what? I joke. I know I jest a little bit. and
I'm gonna
like,
take you out for a
"Ugh, blech,
jackfruit
blech."
sandwich. You're gonna freak out.
Yeah, I'm such a carnivore, you know?
Yeah.
And I obviously don't eat a lot of healthy stuff.
Well, this
so-
isn't to replace that. I don't eat all the meats, but I eat meats.
But
as
there's,
well.
you know what? I've been meaning to because there's a lot of like burger spots in town.
Yeah.
Sure.
That I've just started rolling out the plant-based stuff.
Yep.
And apparently it's good. People say they hardly notice a difference. So why not make a healthy choice?
Yeah. Just know beforehand
Yeah.
that there are different textures, different flavors, and honestly, it's one of those things that I've had to deal with over the years of eating vegetarian stuff. Is that there are different things that happen to your body if you're not used to certain things in your diet. So just know that ahead of time.
Have you ever had the Beyond Meat brand
Yes.
stuff?
What did you think of that?
It's pretty close to meat.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't love it, but I prefer a veggie burger to feel like a veggie burger.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like if I'm going to eat a veggie burger, I'd rather it not like a
I know
a
what you're
crumb
saying.
bum veggie burger.
You want it to taste
I
like
want
a
it to taste
veggie burger.
like lentils and like
Yeah.
whatever
'Cause you know
whatever
what you're
the-
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had the Beyond Meat.
Have you tried the
branded.
Impossible?
I haven't had Impossible yet, but I hear they're pretty much identical.
Yeah. It's a lot of science taking over for like the flavors and that kind of thing. And you know what?
Yes,
To each
none of
their
these
own.
brands are sponsors of our show.
No, they're not. But the
Don't go
stock
run out
price
there
is
and buy it.
jumping up, so
Is
you
it?
jump on, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to try the burger, but you know what? Just like you were saying, you like the fact that a veggie burger that's made out of lentils tastes like lentils.
Yeah, I want a bit of corn in there.
I want my burger to taste like a beef burger,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
not be
absolutely.
it. But you know, it'd
then
be
just have a-
healthier. I don't even want to be like I don't want to eat meat. I'm cool to eat meat.
Yeah, then just
But
eat
if there's
meat.
a healthier option that tastes like meat,
Yep.
that might be even better for me. I'm all for that.
So things that are going to make Chris smile. This podcast is all about making Chris smile, right? That's what
Or
I've-
feeding me. It's
Okay.
one of those two things.
Jurassic World.
Na, 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 na,
All right, so
na,
Jurassic
na,
World
na,
will be this is part of the fun. Anytime you,
Just
I
do
think
the
it was
news.
what
Just do it. Just keep going.
episode 7. This goes back to episode 7. So Jurassic Park or Jurassic World will be welcoming Alan Grant, Ali Statler, and Ian Malcolm back to the fray for Jurassic World 3.
Ooh.
So pretty cool stuff.
See how I crescendoed just as you were naming the names?
Yeah.
To be honest,
Well,
I didn't
was
hear a
beautifully
word that
timed.
Dustin said. All I could focus on was your singing.
The good news is I got the cans on and the mix was perfect. Perfectamundo. This is
so
awesome.
what do you guys think?
Oh my God,
is
this is
it
great.
Like Jurassic World, I know that there was always a disconnect between the two worlds. With the only mention of Jurassic Park was how it was not Jurassic World. They made mistakes in the past. There was lunchboxes, I think.
I don't know. No, in the first movie they stumble on the old site, right?
Oh yeah,
There's
but
the Jeep and
but
the
the
old-
conversation was how Jurassic Park was this idea that was spun out of, hey, we can do this. And then they started to be like, well, we can make money off of this. How do we
Yeah.
take that idea and then throw it out to the public? And it's all about stock prices and that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, Jurassic World 3, if they're bringing these characters back, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, if you know your Jurassic Park, and I do, second movie had Jeff Goldblum in it. They couldn't get Sam Neill or Laura Dern. In the third movie, they brought Sam Neill back. This is the Jurassic Park that nobody talks about, Jurassic Park 3. It's great to get, because they've had Jeff Goldblum do a cameo in the last film, which is great. But to have them be a part of the story, the real story, and the story has really spun away from the root, like the core, an island full of dinosaurs. Now it's about cloning and all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm interested how they kind of spin it back to dinosaurs and include some of the original cast. I think those actors are all amazing, fantastic. And I think they're just going to heighten the experience and give you even a bit more of that nostalgia that I feel like you didn't get in the last one. You got a little bit in Jurassic World, the score, the music, again, finding the old site, the Jeeps, the observatory and all that stuff, that you didn't really get any of that in the last movie. And maybe they're just giving you, and I don't know if this is the ending of the trilogy, of the new trilogy, like are they going to make more Jurassic World movies? But maybe it's a nice way to button it and put a nice bow in the end by having the original cast. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree exactly with what you said. I feel like if this is the end, you bring everybody back for the curtain call, and then we go home.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. But you got to wonder. So there is a big financial investment into the IP. You got to figure that they're going to try to extend the world and continue to make movies as long as they're making money.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the question that I have with the 3 coming back, and it's a fun little search into how things have changed in the last 20 years. Yeah, Jurassic Park came out in 1993. Out of those 3, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill, who do you think has had the most impact since they did Jurassic Park?
I feel like Goldblum has been more of the poster boy.
In terms of Jurassic Park, or in terms of their own career?
Their own career. I think it's Laura Dern.
I was about to say, I think Laura Dern's had a stronger career since Jurassic Park.
Oh, I would agree with that. I was thinking
like Star
more-
Wars.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess cultural zeitgeist. Jeff Goldblum is a meme. Everything that he does
Yeah,
is
he's very
like
he was Jeff Goldblum before Jurassic Park was Jurassic Park.
absolutely.
Like,
and then
he
he's
was
getting
already,
his show on Disney Plus.
It's very exciting.
It looks very
That looks
cool.
so
See the
idiotic.
trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
awesome.
dumb.
Yeah.
I love it. It's exactly what I like.
Yeah.
Now, have you thought
How does
that
Jeff Goldblum learn how to make donuts?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna watch Jeff Goldblum do so many stupid things.
I kind of see Jeff Goldblum as Greg Proops, like that kind of
Smartest man in the
personality,
world.
smartest man in
Yeah,
the world,
yep.
kind of bringing his own personality into mundane things.
I have a Greg Proops story.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how many of our audience members will know who Greg Proops is, but I went to a comedy festival once upon a time. And a big part of the comedy festival was there was a day where all these heads of programming from different TV companies.
you're allowed to say what festival this was.
I won't.
Okay.
They're not a sponsor of the show, but it's a big festival.
Fair enough.
And it was a really interesting afternoon, and there was a bunch of people getting up doing micro pitches to programmers from different studios and different like networks and things. It was very cool. And Greg Proops got up and he made a really compelling pitch about a show that was, I believe, called Paladin. And it was the idea of this like hero who was, I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't called Paladin. Maybe that's actually a real show. Anyway, he had an idea for a show, and I thought it was very funny, and it never happened. But it was just kind of cool watching.
What was it? What was the premise of the show?
It was like a guy who was a hero but didn't know he was a hero, and he was kind of meandering around.
Are you thinking about Hancock?
No, Hancock is. I know
Will
Hancock.
Smith movie?
Yeah, but he is with superpowers. This guy didn't. I felt like everyone thought he had superpowers, but he didn't, or something. It was a really unique premise.
Sure. Yeah, that
Bef-
sounds pretty cool.
But this is also years ago, before the whole renaissance of superheroes.
Right, of course.
Before
So
the
now
whole-
would be a good time for him to do it because
Or
I'm sure
yeah,
that everybody's looking
or I
for
feel
that.
like somebody's done it now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It was just cool to see Greg Proops, who I'm sure we all know from Whose Line Is It Anyway,
And his podcast.
and his podcast.
Smartest
yeah.
man in the
So
world.
you know he was Bob the Builder?
No, I didn't know that. Cool.
He's the voice of Bob and Mr. Beasley.
He's doing great.
He's, yeah.
And he
Interesting
was
guy.
he was in Brother Bear. There we go. Bring it all
Bring
back
it
together.
all
All right, that's the end of this
Anyway, it was just cool to
episode.
see him pitch a TV show to the networks.
Look what he
Live.
played in Brother Bear.
Oh, he played male lover bear?
Yeah, he was the male lover bear.
Good for him.
Got to make that Disney money somehow. Anyway, it was cool to see him live pitch to a network. Isn't that neat?
Yeah,
That
sure.
they did
Super cool.
that. And it was like, there was like 300 people in the audience.
Yeah.
People just get up there and go, here's your 5 minutes. Go. All
Yeah,
right.
and you have to compete to get one of those slots, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Greg Proops had to compete.
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
he's-
like, you have to apply and then
Yeah, I
go
think
over
they
it.
were
But
like,
I'm sure they
famous guy
saw
wants
his
to
name and
pitch.
just said
Yeah,
yes.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
And this is long before podcasts.
Yeah.
And any of that
Yeah.
stuff, before that fame. This was all out of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Hall of Fame.
You're making me feel great. I had one of those one year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see
Nothing
you do
ever
that.
happened.
But still, it's a cool experience.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
it's super cool.
I don't know how many of those actually got turned into
Yeah,
shows.
I think
Probably
none of them.
Yeah. Anyway, cool story, bro. All right. What else? I heard there's another IP that is coming back to some stuff. Why don't we talk about that? Because I got my senses are tingling right now.
All right. What do you know about this?
I don't know anything. I just know that you told me before that we were going to do this in the news, so I wrote it down, and I'm segueing to a
You're
topic.
really spilling the beans
You're
on
you're
this.
Yeah,
segueing.
beans spilt.
This is a
Look behind the curtain, everybody.
a famous Chris segue.
So, Dustin, what else is going on in the news?
Spider-Man is back.
Is that his new theme song? Spider-Man.
I like that better than the old one.
Yeah, I
too.
do.
The old one was,
Spider-Man.
No, that's the old one.
Spider-Man.
All right.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man pop. Spider-Man zap. Spider-Man. It's
I'm
catchy.
sitting. I want everybody to at home listening to this to have a picture of this. I'm sitting in between these two numbskulls while they do this.
As he rolls his eyes. Like,
I'm surrounded. Surround sound idiocy.
Well, speaking of idiocy, remember how a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how Sony and Disney couldn't come to terms with Spider-Man
Hey,
making money?
Smooth transition.
I'll be Sony and you be Disney. Ready?
Okay.
I ain't giving up this movie. I'm not paying them prices.
Come on.
Yeah, all right.
So Spider-Man's back within the MCU, and Sony made a deal with Disney.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of cash, eh?
It's got to be.
Yeah.
The conversation strikes around the idea that Spider-Man was pulled from the MCU. They were like, okay, we're going to do Spider-Man on our own. And everyone at Sony was like, awesome, we have Spider-Man back. And then they're just like, oh, wait, what did we just do? Because Spider-Man in the MCU is so much more compelling than Spider-Man not in the MCU.
Yeah, for sure.
We're talking about a time period where just have the character in this story, in this world, and make your money.
Let's talk about Spider-Man for a second.
Sure.
There have been so many quote unquote Spider-Man franchises in the last even 20 years.
Spider-Men.
Yeah, the Spider Gang.
Yeah.
That it's almost confusing.
Yeah.
And it's almost been a little bit detrimental to the brand because they've had to reboot and reboot and reboot.
Right.
Almost like Batman.
Same thing. Yeah. The Batman.
The
it's kinda
characters
like,
just
and they're
don't
doing it
have-
again. They're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Robert
they have
Pattinson?
to.
Robert
they have
Pattinson?
To. They have to do it.
Ooh, do they?
They have to do a hard reboot because it's not working. You know what I mean? Like it's like, and that's the thing about Spider-Man in the Disney fold is that their rebranding was perfect. It was subtle. It wasn't a huge, hey everybody, we're starting this over. We don't need to see the origin story again
Came
for
in
goodness
small.
sakes.
They brought him in.
They came in and they cast it very well.
Amazing.
They cast it age appropriate for once.
Yeah.
You know, he's a kid. He's supposed to be like a 14-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid, and they cast a 14, 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
As opposed to a 20-something-year-old pretending they're 14.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the job that Disney did with it was flawless. And I think, circling back to the point of what Sony was up to, I don't think Sony really ever had much of a plan other than to jack the price. That's my suspicion.
Sure.
You think so, eh?
Yeah, they were like, oh, let's get it back, and then let's cause an outrage online, and everybody's going to freak out going, no, we liked that spot. What's going to happen to Spider-Man? And then Disney will pay us so much more money because Disney cannot let something like that go. If I was at Sony, I would sit there and look at that and go, you just put your eggs in the Spider-Man basket? Oops. Give me that basket. And now I'm going to charge you so much more for that basket.
The dollars that come into this, just so we're talking on the same level, Disney will put up 25% of the budget for the third Spider-Man movie in exchange for 25% of the profit.
I see, but they have control.
Kevin Feige will serve as a producer, which is the control.
Right.
So wait, they only own a quarter of it?
But for as long as they're the ones like in control of the story, I think that fans will be happy with it.
Yeah, but if you're Disney, do you want to put all that work and effort into a movie that you only get a quarter out of?
If it makes $1 billion, that's still $250 million.
That's nothing. $250 million is nothing.
But we're
To
talking
you,
about
Chris, to you.
yes, in the cinematic universe, $250 million, chump change.
Yeah.
So why are they going to? Is it just to reinforce their stuff? Like I get it if they have another Spider-Man movie, you get a quarter of that.
Yeah.
But when they include Spider-Man in another ensemble cast, what's the money situation? Or do they is the idea when you make a Spider-Man,
That's what it
you
is.
get a quarter, but if you do any other movie, he can be in it and that's fine?
No idea.
Like, I'm interested to see how that works.
Yeah.
Because it feels like if they only get that much of a cut, it's not really like they have to pay for it. It's just when there's no money being exchanged.
Right.
It's just when you make that movie, we're making most of the money. I don't see why they would just do that.
because they're
Just to protect themselves.
But also
But-
optics?
No, we're talking
Yeah,
about
I guess.
the other side of it. So that's the one part of the deal. But Spider-Man now can be written into future Marvel movies. So that's like bringing him into Avengers stuff, bringing him into Doctor Strange, bringing him into all of these different Marvel movies. If they didn't have that agreement with Sony was going to pull the character Spider-Man
Yeah.
from all future
So-
Marvel
but
movies.
I get that, but if I'm Disney now,
Yeah.
I maybe just go, great, I'm going to have him be in Avengers blank
Yep.
and Dr. Zeus blank and
Dr.
whatever.
Dr.
Yeah,
Zeus.
whatever.
It's a different guy, man.
I know. But I'm probably not going to make any more Spider-Man movies because I only get 25% of that movie.
You make a couple.
Why? Why would I? Why would I
Just to
bother
advance- just to
if
advance
I'm going to do
Spider-Man.
all this work?
because it's only costing you 25%.
Yeah, but
Another
still.
studio is putting up 75%.
It just seems like small gain. It's less about the money and more about the time and energy and taking Kevin Feige away from doing your stuff to do something you get a quarter of. That's all I'm saying. It just feels to me it's more of a let's just keep this in house as opposed to
Well, what was the
they
alternative?
Honestly,
buy it outright. Like here's a bunch of money,
Okay.
and you walk away, Sony, and now Spider-Man is ours. So we can exploit that IP any way we want. But no, it's not that way. Sony is still holding on very tightly. And now they don't have to do any work. They just cut a check and go, here, Disney, make this movie for us. Thanks. We'll take 3/4 of that money. I don't know. It feels funky. But if it's just to protect the brand, yeah, I get it, I guess. It just doesn't feel like a great deal.
Now, Sony did decline the proposal that Disney put out in August for a 50-50 co-financing deal to split the production costs and profits equally. So Sony and Disney, that was on the table in August, 50-50 split. We'll help you produce it. We want 50%. And Sony said no.
Interesting.
And
So-
instead, they took the 25%?
They took so Sony puts in 75% of the budget and they get 75% of the revenues.
Sony's about the money.
Sony's all about the money.
Sony has been trying to build their own
Yep.
franchises. And look at this whole Ghostbusters thing.
Absolutely.
It's another franchise. Oh, my goodness. If Disney would just buy Ghostbusters. That's all. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, so that's...
I trust those guys to make that movie right.
Yeah.
But, but just to talk about Spider-Man for
Sure.
a second. How did you guys feel about the Sam Raimi flicks? Because I quite enjoyed them.
That's the Kirsten Dunst
Yes.
and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
I like the first one.
You like the first one.
Yeah.
That's funny because the second one I think is the best one.
Sure.
Who was the villain in the second one? Remind me.
Doc Ock, Anthony
Right.
Molina,
Right.
amazing
Yep.
performance.
Yep.
I felt like Sam Raimi had control of the first film,
Yep.
had control of the second film, and then lost control of the third film because Sony got their sticky little fingers in there and insisted they wanted this and more villains and more this.
Yep.
And that's why Sam Raimi said, I'm out on 4 because they had an idea for 4. They were in pre-production for 4.
Yep.
He bailed. And then they did this newer version with Garfield.
Andrew,
Thank you. Not the cat.
not the cat.
So they do this one with the Garfield the cat,
Yep.
and Odie was not cast, and he was very upset.
As he should be.
Right? He worked for Lasagna, great deal for Sony.
Yep.
And those movies, I didn't find that they were darker. They lost some of that comic tone, I guess, that comic booky flair.
Yeah.
Some.
Do you remember when Tobey Maguire was like evil for a minute and
Yeah.
he just like wore like a black shirt
Yep.
that had sunglasses?
And he danced, yeah.
Oh, that was so
It was pretty
awful.
terrible. Yeah,
that was so
that's the third movie.
dreadful.
Third movie.
Yeah.
You got to put the third movie on a shelf. Because
gotta
that
put
was
all of this on
that
a
movie
shelf.
was fractured. That was Sam Raimi going, look, you don't want me to do things my way? Ugh, here you go.
Yeah.
I'm saddled with all this stuff you're making me do.
Right.
It was supposed to be with one villain, one storyline that connected to the through line. Sony was like, no, we need Venom has to be in there. And need Venom now, get him in there. They're like, it doesn't work.
They keep trying with Venom. They just can't get it right.
can't get it right.
They can't get it right.
Well, Venom's a personality that if you're a comic book fan, you know the backstory. You know everything that goes into that. But he's such a difficult character to play that even if they bring in the best actors working today, could they actually take on Venom? I don't think they could.
I don't know. People say the same thing about Joker, and we've just gotten lucky. There've been some really terrible Jokers, but then there's the two Jokers that everybody remembers that are incredible.
Well, the
but then
current movie looks like it's getting significantly like I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of
I could really go off about that movie, but yeah, I've got a lot of
different
theories
opinions.
About this. Yeah.
I'm going to wait till we see it.
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
into it.
I'm not judging it. I'm just
Yeah.
just sort of like why it's popular, like why it's in the zeitgeist is
But-
kind of sad and
But when
scary.
we're talking about back to Spider-Man, so good Spider-Man movies, bad Spider-Man movies, good Spider-Man movies. He comes into the MCU,
Sure.
handled by the good people at Disney and Kevin Feige. Just like Mark said, introducing him in a not a splashy way.
Yep.
And the way they've connected him to this root universe has been incredible. And yes, he's a kid. And he's what he was in the comics. He's just this kid figuring out himself, figuring out how to be the superhero.
Sure.
And it's so charming.
Did I ever tell the story about going to go see Spider-Man on Broadway?
No.
Oh my gosh. What talk about a mess.
Did you see it before or
I saw it after it was fixed,
Okay.
and it was still a true disaster. I was sitting, I think, in the 5th row on the aisle, and at one point, one of the Spider-Men came and there was a point where they were popping up all over the theater in different places, and one came and crouched down right next to me, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, Jenna, there's a Spider-Man, and we looked over, and he looked at me and gave me a thumbs up in the crouch position before he stood up and a spotlight hit him and he ran to the stage.
Cool.
I was like, yo, Spider-Man gave me a thumbs up. Things are all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I thought you were going to tell us a story about somebody getting stuck up in the rafters
Yeah.
or something.
Did I tell you that story?
No,
So
there's
that was
more.
oh my gosh. Okay, so a friend of mine went to see it while it was in previews.
Sure.
And yeah, as you know, there were all kinds of technical issues.
Yeah.
They messed up a bunch. There was a bunch of problems. And what happened was the Green Goblin. He races around the theater like he's above the audience.
Yeah.
And he got stuck. It just stopped. He's on his, like, whatever you call that, like,
his, like,
hovercraft,
hoverboard
whatever you
thing,
call
yeah.
that thing. And he's on that, and it gets stuck above the audience. And
Did he give you a thumbs up?
no, I wasn't there. My friend was there. My friend was there.
Help me.
Could you imagine? So
Help is okay.
they turn the house. Everything stops. The music stops. Everything stops. The stage goes to wash, and the house lights come up.
Yeah.
And stage management comes over the PA and says, "We're having a technical difficulty. The show will resume as soon as we can. Thank you for your patience." That kind of thing. Meanwhile, the stage has cleared. All the actors have left the stage except for the Green Goblin, who's stranded above the audience. And there are ushers who have come down the aisle, and a couple of technical staff have come down the aisle and are standing looking at him. He's out of arm's reach, like he's too high, but they're all just looking at him like underneath him helplessly.
Yeah.
And he's just up there hanging out.
Yeah.
And my friend said he was right below him, and he saw the look on the actor's face when he decided to stay in character. He saw him make the choice, or he was like, "What do I do?" And then looked down at everybody and raised his hands above his head in a scary pose and went, "Wah! Wah! Wah!" And like no improv witty dialogue, no "Hi everybody, this is embarrassing." No, his choice was to look down at everybody, make scary hands, and as his hovercraft slowly descended to the stage, go, "Wah! Wah!" And apparently everybody was just dying laughing at him. And he just kept doing it.
Maybe he thought he was killing it.
Yeah.
Like he dropped that rod and everyone
Yeah,
started laughing.
maybe he
was
meant
like,
to be funny, but
you know-
but my friend was pretty convinced that he did not mean to be funny. in
like
that
you've heard
moment.
me say on this before, there are comedians and there are musical theater performers. And they both make different choices.
Yep.
Oh boy.
That's a great story. You know, I just want to wrap up what I was kind of talking about with Spider-Man.
Sure.
Oh, I really
which
took
is
us off
just
track, sorry.
no. I love going off track with your stories. They're hilarious. I think what the idea was you've rebooted the series once, you've rebooted it again. You couldn't reboot it a fourth time in the last however many years. It would have been confusing. It would have been just brutal. I think what they're doing with Batman is confusing. Like
They need to reboot Batman.
I know,
though.
but
they need to do something.
Are you out on Affleck's Batman?
I don't think that it's. I don't think
thought
the
he did a
problem
good
is.
job. He was
I
great.
don't
I
think the
liked him a
problem is
lot.
Affleck. I think the problem is the
people
series
running
that he's
the-
in.
yeah.
Like it's like, I mean, it's just like comic books, right? Like you read like a however many episode or issue arc of something like Batman. What was it? The something of the owls.
Was it the
and
Owls
then-
of Hogwarts?
No, it's not.
Okay,
Could you imagine that crossover?
Yeah.
Court. That's what it is.
There we go.
The
Batman in the Court of the Owls.
Court of the Owls.
Batman and the
And
Court
that
of the
that
Owls.
series was amazing.
Yeah.
But
don't know it.
then you know what I mean? Like the series before, the series after, maybe not as great, and you just sort of go, oh, okay, this one's not
Right.
So it's the same thing, I think. So it's
Yep.
like every so often, you just got to sort of, not unlike the comic books, a new artist will come on board and give it a slightly different look,
Sure.
or a drastically different look.
These are drastic. All of them are drastic.
Yeah, and then there's a new writer, and they give us a new story.
I
and
just
it's-
feel
mean,
like
it's the same thing.
I feel like Disney and Sony both agreed that this is working. You can't pull the plug on this.
Yeah, we're in the middle of an arc here.
Yeah.
Like you don't do it now. Like wait until you know this series, this what do they call it, phase?
Yeah.
This phase is over, and then if you want to take Spider-Man back and ruin him again, or do whatever you want with him, then go for it.
Well, I mean,
but let this phase
but
happen.
they've also invested in this attraction, the Spider-Man attraction that's coming down the pipe, which looks to me like it's just going to be Toy Story Mania, and you're going to shoot webs.
I
which
can't wait for
super
this thing
lame.
to come out, and I'm just gonna live stream you on Instagram on this thing disappointed,
Yeah.
on this child's ride.
I'm just
mad about it,
It'll be
yeah.
so
Yeah, a little
excited
bit.
because we'll all go on it as we're in the queue line. I'll hand Chris a fruit salad and be like, hey Chris, do you want this fruit salad? It's Batman inspired. It has bananas.
That was such a long. It was a long
That
way
was
to
a
go for
long-winded
such
joke.
a brutal joke.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
That will definitely remain in this podcast. All right, I think we've kind of talked everyone's ear off on Spider-Man, and we're all excited about the attraction and the fruit salad coming our way. What other information, what other news do we have? I see a couple more pieces of news. D-Money, what's happening?
I'm just so excited that I made Mark laugh. And that was a heartfelt laugh. Like, that was great.
It was certainly a deep laugh from
Yeah.
Mark. What else is happening?
There's a story right now at Disney World that they are changing operationally how Bell services accept ECVs, motorized wheelchairs, and scooters at the parks. It's an ongoing story. We don't quite know exactly what the official route will be at the end of it, but right now it looks as though you can't have your ECV, which is an electronic motorized scooter, or wheelchairs from outside third-party vendors drop off those things when you're not there. And Disney would, in the past, sign for them, and then you would go to Bell Services and pick them up. Disney is no longer taking responsibility for that signing on both sides, the pickup or the drop-off. So we're kind of going through this, what's going to happen. And it made sense because the Bell Services cast members are so overrun with luggage and all these other things to put that extra legality on top of them, because they're basically assuming control of third-party.
And it's big, expensive equipment.
Yeah, who's responsible for this? Right.
So it makes sense.
Who's liable?
Yeah.
It does make sense, but it's just a bummer because it's super inconvenient for you as a customer.
Well,
you show up and now you have to.
Well, Disney wasn't making any money off of it. It wasn't Disney's stuff.
Of course, but it's just it's a courtesy to a guest who has mobility issues, right?
Yeah.
So now you're inconveniencing that guest
For sure.
by saying this equipment cannot arrive until you do. So the timing of that, like, I don't know how specific these companies are. Like, we can drop this off at 1 o'clock on Thursday.
Well, they would drop off multiple at the same time, and then all of a sudden you'd have people come in at different. It was one of those
So
things.
what's going to happen now when these people are coming on? Like, more trips from the company?
It's going to be more trips from the company. It's going to be, you have to be available between like this 15-minute
Right. And now it's going to
time
probably
period.
increase the price of the ECVs.
Probably.
Yeah,
But Disney has their own.
I was about to
So
say,
is it a way to get you to use their stuff?
100%.
Oh my god.
Well, it's a mix between that and the legality and the taking the liability off of the cast members and the resorts for accepting these incredibly expensive pieces of machinery.
You know, it's too bad because usually when I think of Disney, I think of a complete experience service-wise.
Sure.
Like, the staff there is incredible. They take care of you. I always love that you could buy things and it would get stashed away to your hotel room.
Yep.
I love that I could send a package of breakfast bars and stuff and it would be cheerfully waiting for me when I arrive. You know, it's all about convenience because we're paying top dollar
Yep.
to go there.
Things have changed.
So to
Flat
continue
out.
to nickel and dime, especially for people who need assisted experiences, poor form. That's all I got to say on that.
but they have their own, right? They have
Don't
their
care.
Own.
Poor form. Maybe someone can't afford yours.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is
know?
like, if they're competitively priced, then you know
I
what
would
I mean?
wager they're probably more.
They're probably Disney prices.
They're Disney
Right.
prices. Cool. Is that
Cool.
it for the news?
That's the news.
All right. That's the news. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll come right back with some more. We like theme parks.
Podcast.
We like theme parks podcast.
Hey guys, it's Todd here in the Magic Kingdom this time. We're talking a little bit more about hidden magic, and I'm sitting here with Tony, spelled with an I, at Tony's Town Square restaurant. She's one of the cast members here, and tell me a hidden magic that is maybe close here to the restaurant.
Well, I actually have two. So one that everybody misses when they're passing by is Lady and the Tramp's paw prints right in front of the restaurant. So you can see it right on the concrete, right in front of that balcony. It's just absolutely phenomenal. But another thing that's my personal favorite is the little alleyway on Main Street, USA, where the characters, the brown umbrellas, keep walking past there. It's like a little cafe set up. So when you're sitting down, you're enjoying it, you can actually hear Walt Disney's wife. They're recording up top, either teaching voice lessons or dance lessons, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. It's just amazing because you rarely hear her voice on any of the past recordings from anything, and it's pretty cool, honestly.
Thanks a lot, Tony. And that was another little piece of hidden magic at Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World and Florida Resort.
And we're back on the We Like Theme Park podcast. And I hope you enjoyed another installment of Hidden Magic from Todd Bovington. Todd, thanks so much again for doing those. They're fantastic. And we got a few more of those for our audiences to enjoy hidden magic around the Disney parks. So, guys, it's that time of the show that we love and adore. It's that time where Mark gets to do his thing. It's Mailbag with Mark.
This one's from Christopher Hawley. I hope I pronounced your last name right. Howley? Anyway, you know what? Record your voice saying it and then send it to me, and I will either feel bad or feel good about it. My armchair Imagineering is to use Flight of Passage ride tech for a Star Wars pod racing experience. Love to hear what your guys' thoughts is on this.
Okay, cool. All right. What was his name again? Chris?
Christopher. Yeah, well, I mean,
It's a cool
Christopher.
name. I like it.
Yeah.
So you have this idea to do a pod racing ride using
the
Flight of Passage technology.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Pod racing for me, I don't know. Let's put it to everybody.
Sure.
As an audience member and as a Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
is pod racing a thing that you immediately correlate with the universe and are like dying to see integrated into the parks?
Well, for me, the first time when I saw that movie,
Yeah.
I sat there and that pod racing sequence is like 20 minutes long.
It's long.
And I hated it. I hated it so much because even at the time, we're living in a world where video games exist, everybody. And I thought that I'd much rather be racing that pod than watching this pod race.
Right.
It looked to me like an incredible video game that I don't get to play. So if I was going to do it, I would make it perhaps a VR type experience,
Right.
That you could control,
Right.
kind of like the Mario Kart VR kind of thing. Or you could, I know that people have been playing with this, and I don't know if Disney's going to get around to it, but doing a VR coaster where you put on the VR goggles and you get in a Tron light cycle type vehicle. Yeah, I sold
Said the
Chris on
magic
it.
word.
Yeah. You get into a Tron light cycle type vehicle and you race that pod around and you are in the environment because of the VR, but you're just racing around like an empty soundstage.
So we've actually seen that twice. So we've seen the first one was the Aladdin thing at Disney Quest.
Right.
Where you would sit on the back of a magic carpet, you put the VR tech, and then you go from there. That was the Randy Pausch, the last lecture thing. If anyone goes online, Randy Pausch, he was the Disney Imagineer who lost his battle for cancer halfway through his Imagineering thing. But great story. But the idea that you were using VR to race around Agrabah. Cool stuff. The other one that was actually I think it was also in Disney Quest, was the virtual Space Mountain.
Oh.
Where it was a roller coaster that you would build, and then it would connect up with, why am I spacing on them? The things from Harry Potter, the Kuka arms. So you would actually go into a roller coaster capsule that was on the end of a Kuka arm, and you would basically do all these different, amazing things like loops and everything like that, all like older technology, but it was still hilarious because you get in there and you'd be like, okay, this is going to be so much fun, and they would give you a VCR, like a VHS tape at the end of it, because that's all that they had technology-wise.
Right.
But I do like that idea of some sort of using technology to really play up the story.
I just feel like we're at a point now with all of this. I mean, I don't want to hammer the word technology, but I'm about to say it again, technology, where we can be more in control of stuff. And something like a pod race, I feel like I would like to interact with that more, as opposed to, say, for example, Flight of Passage, where you are on the back of a banshee, or even Peter Pan's Flight, where you're just in, I don't want to say just, but you're in this flying pirate ship. I feel like not everything has to be interactive, but I feel as though we're at a place where we could have more, and we could be in control of our destiny here within reason. Like, I think the Millennium Falcon is scratching the surface.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just bringing it back to Star Wars. I mean, the idea is pod race, and as a Star Wars fan, I feel the same thing you do about the pod race. And also just, I'm not super keen on the whole Jake Lloyd, Vader as a kid. Maybe they wouldn't even use that. They would just stick to, hey, you're in Tatooine and you're and you're in this pod race.
Yeah.
What might be a better idea might be I don't know what they're called, but the motorcycles the things you ride in.
Yeah, I remember those from the first series.
In Endor.
Yeah.
Those I think that would be more exciting, like that chase, riding one of those, which is kind of similar to a Banshee experience.
Right.
Through the Forest Moon, you got ATSTs popping out of trees and Ewoks everywhere. And I don't know, that might be a little bit more engaging. And it's a part of the storyline.
Sure.
Maybe you can live that experience, like the Battle of Endor, or something else is happening on Endor, or just, I think we've started to see those bikes in other places too. They haven't just exclusively been on Endor. We've seen them in the subsequent trilogy in other places. So just vehicle-wise, I think that would be really cool. But I don't know, maybe is the idea here with this segment, any other unique ideas with other IPs maybe, besides the ones we know they're coming, Peter Pan. Like,
Right.
you know they're using that same ride tech.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that in Japan, right?
Yeah, it's that ride tech. So here's a Star Wars pitch. I think on another episode that we've taped, I pitched a Condor Man. This will never happen.
So this new pitch is also Condor Man.
No. So really quickly off the top of our heads, guys, do we have a pitch for a different IP or a different story that can be told using that technology?
Yeah, I thought it was just begging to be used by Finding Nemo.
Oh, really?
Because the idea that you're sitting on the back of a Banshee could also be sitting on the back of Crush the Turtle.
Right.
And then you
doing
go through the EAC dude.
Hey, and you could use "Go with the Flow," the song from the musical.
Absolutely. It just
Cool.
because you're underwater, so it just kind of makes sense that you would be able to bring. Because when this idea first came through, I was like, oh, you're on the back of something. Okay, what can you be on the back of?
Right.
Is it a car? No, they've done that. Is it an animal? Well, you could possibly do that. There's different movies that focus around animals and riding on it. And then I'm like, okay, well, what happens if you, go back in the olden days when it was a lot more animal stories, like Fox and the Hound, or, even something like Robin Hood? I don't know. But what do you think?
Yeah.
I feel like you can always make up vehicle, right?
I got
like
one.
if you think about Spider-Man when you go to Universal Studios and you ride Scoop.
Yeah.
I mean, Scoop never exists. It's just Scoop.
not
They made
anything,
it up.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not anything. So I think you could just be creative and do a make 'em up. Just pick the adventure.
What
know
if
I
you
mean?
What if you sit on like a porch bench, like a front porch bench,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the house from Up,
House from Up.
Oh wow.
and that's your vehicle. Your vehicle is the front porch of
Yeah.
Up.
that feels like Soren though.
Yeah, but that's why I thought that was the ride tech, though. Oh, I guess
It's different
it's
ride
similar
tech.
ride
It's
tech.
similar,
It's
yeah.
similar ride tech.
It lives in that world, but the vehicles.
But the
and
vehicle
VR
is
all
more
different.
of a banshee as
Yeah,
opposed
yeah,
to a
yeah.
sit back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, the pod race thing might be cool. And I think if you take the pod race away from the story, like you take it out of the story and just look at it as this kind of cool new race thing, it could be really fun. I feel like that movie was kind of short a spaceship dogfight scene, so they had to really elaborate on that pod race scene.
I really needed to see 3 full laps of that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you could have
One lap.
cut.
Could've been
You could have
one
cut.
lap or
Yeah, it wouldn't. Could have been
maybe
one
two.
lap.
Yeah.
See, I just remember
heavy.
some of the
heavy. It was a long
some of the
time. Yeah.
games. I think the big one was Star Wars Episode 1, The Racer, which was a 1999 video game.
You're aging us here,
It was a
Dustin.
pod race. Is a
It
pod
was
racing
the
game.
pod racing one.
Yeah, for sure they were trying to sell a video game. They
Yeah.
must have been. That was the first thing I thought when I
This
watched
was a
it.
LucasArts Nintendo thing, so it was
Oh, yeah.
actually for Nintendo 64, Game Boy Color,
Dude.
and Dreamcast.
Dude,
Dreamcast.
listen. Okay, here are my favorite Star Wars games. Ready?
Okay.
Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
Wow.
The first, what is it? Battlefront.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. When they started to add the vehicles, I liked it less. But when
Mm-hmm.
it was just Battlefront, and you were just a stormtrooper.
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And then Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay. Good
you know,
call.
That RPG, super fun.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. We're talking games. We're talking Star Wars. All right. Do you think we answered this mailbag?
Yeah.
I think.
And
we
I
did.
think if,
Thanks,
if
Christopher.
people have ideas about what they would use, just let us know.
Absolutely. And you know what? Actually, we wanted to follow up on something because we got a follow-up mailbag answer about a comment we made last podcast.
Yep.
Where we were discussing the Halloween Horror Nights scare actors,
Character
dining experience, and I had pitched the idea of, hey, why don't you pull these characters out of the mazes and throw them in this dinner thing and make a big deal? Well, Dustin, what did you hear?
This is a once again a shout out to Jordan. We've talked about Jordan in previous ones. He was a friend of mine. I worked with him down at Epcot actually back in the day. We're going more than 10 years ago, and he sent me a note being like, "Hey, a note on the podcast. I did character dining 2 years ago. The food was as good as it looked."
Wow, what a burn! What a burn!
I know,
Same old
but
food.
It's the way it works. And he did want to add one more thing to Bondo's thing. At the end, when he went, there was one character from each maze at the character dining. So they did get
this.
to have that experience. But what we saw with the videos and with people going this year, it's not quite that way.
Well, did he enjoy it? Did he make any comment about like it was cool?
Yeah, he said what he experienced, he wouldn't do it again, but it was neat to do it the first time. Like, it's always good to go and see something yourself, but it was really neat to have someone from each maze there. Yeah, so once again, it's all
sells
experiences.
the maze, right?
100%.
Like, because, you know, if you've been there, it's tricky to do all of them in one night. So if you only got one shot, maybe it's like, oh, well, I went to the scare dinner, and wow, this killer clown was amazing. Yeah, we got to definitely check that
Killer
one out.
clown's for sure going to
And
be
that's
amazing.
why I mentioned that one, Mark, because I knew your eyes would light up.
They
Yeah.
did.
They were.
I was wearing my Killer Clowns T-shirt the other night. On
You
this.
have a Killer Clowns t-shirt?
I've got two, and and it was during the install for this the show that I'm designing the lights for, and one of the crew guys was like, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt, man?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got it." And he got so excited. He's like, "I just finally watched the whole thing." And he was like, what an incredible movie. And it's like, yeah, it really is an incredible movie.
It's awesome.
It's
so
not, I don't know
fun.
if it's for all ages, but it's
a fun one.
it's for sure a fun B movie, a very silly B movie, yeah.
It's the 1980s, man. We miss them sometimes. All right. Well, let's wrap up the mailbag here, and we're going to move into our next segment, which is a Retire Me.
Retire me!
All right, so
Can we make a new Retire Me bump that is just to the tune of Remember Me from Coco?
Retire me. Disney, please don't sue. Retire me.
It's parody. This is fair use. It's fair use. Nobody sues Weird Al.
This attraction,
They
we're
try.
getting rid
He's
of
just
you.
really good.
Honestly, that's
You know
another
that song?
T-shirt.
Do you
Nobody
know-
sues Weird Al.
Do you know what, dude? That's the lullaby I sing to my daughters when I put them to sleep.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Every night I sing Devin, Remember Me.
Oh no! What are you gonna do? You're gonna traumatize these children. They're gonna sing that at your funeral and just weep forever. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about
That's
your
okay.
funeral. That's not right.
Yeah, still talking about me dying. That's super awkward. All right, let's talk about something Retire Me.
All right, so this Retire Me is sponsored by Theme Park Alchemy.
Hey!
So I know, right? Because we've got sponsors.
Sponsors!
Crazy thing about Theme Park Alchemy is that they actually came into the We Like Theme Parks podcast family a number of weeks ago when we shouted out the Rad Ranger. Chris just shouted him out because he loved the photos, loved the idea of his...
He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. And he reached out and he's like, hey... I have this company called Theme Park Alchemy, which is a theme park inspired, darker, twisted sense of certain properties within the theme park world, from Harry Potter to Jaws to King Kong and everyone in between. And
You said, some of my favorite things.
Absolutely. And what they've done is they've actually created candles around these ideas. The scents are banana breath, and the Jaws has a specific, unique scent.
Oh, cool.
They've actually gone out and done research with the people who created these attractions and said, hey, what do you think? Is this close?
That's so
Wow.
awesome.
Sniff this.
Yeah.
Here, can you smell this? Is it close to
banana
confrontation?
breath?
That's amazing.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool.
And then what
so they
they-
get
Gonna
Bob
get a
Gurr on
couple
the
of
phone
those-
and they're like, Bob, sniff this.
Oh,
And
And he's like, oh yeah, that's it.
this is what a great idea.
I know, right?
So it's banana and like motor oil and fire, like
I'm gonna
gasoline.
light this up. I'm gonna light this up in my bathroom and just have the nicest time.
I
Well, I
know,
think
right?
the whole idea
What a
is that it,
relaxing
it
bath.
creates like a memory for you. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it triggers oh boy, I love the Haunted Mansion, and then you smell this candle, like, oh, it's bringing back like Haunted Mansion vibes. vibes.
Yeah.
So you're taking a little piece of the attraction home with you. It's kind of cool.
And say what you like. I love a candle. I love a scented candle.
That's
Well,
nice.
and here's what's funny with these guys. So they went out. So not only the candles themselves are true to form, and they have the scent down pat, but there's 4 people in this company. So it's Sean, Jen, Ryan, and Nicole. And the cool thing is that Jen is actually a tattoo artist with over 20 years experience, which means that when you get one of these candles, you'll see the style that she's put into these products. And I think when you're looking at theme park fans, we're always trying to find something that we don't have, something that we can display, from pins to art. This is something that when the candle is all done, you're still going to be able to display the art, because that's how cool it is.
Ah, cool.
You can check them out at on their website at themeparkalchemy.com or on their Instagram. That's where we found them.
Yeah, and then
at Theme Park Alchemy.
Theme Park Alchemy has provided a promo code. So if you go to themeparkalchemy.com, just utilize the promo code WeLike15.
We like 15.
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, this Retire Me is sponsored by theme park fans.
Retire Me, sponsored by Theme Park Alchemy.
So this one's going to be a fun one.
This is my movie phone voice.
Yeah, I
kinda.
like that.
That's your movie one?
No, that's In a World. No, not that. It's just
One man.
No, it's just
one
my
love,
like. It's just my like.
one desire.
You know, like when you call like a telephone company and they're
Hi.
like, hello and welcome. Press 1 if you want to blink.
You call people on the telephone?
No,
Yeah.
never mind. Never mind.
Who's this old man?
You know what?
Telephone.
You know what? I'm just
Probably
gonna,
have a
you know what?
rotary
I just
phone
need a
and
night
everything.
off. I'm gonna go on to themeparkalchemy.com. I'm gonna order me a ginger dead candle. It's a night. It's getting me some Christmas vibes.
They
I'm ready
put
for
the
some Christmas vibes.
childless millennial. They created a pretzel around childless millennials, which you guys know the story of that. There's the news story of a lady who said that people who don't have kids should be banned from Disney parks.
But they should eat pretzels.
What?
Because it smells like
What?
pretzels,
What are
right?
you
It's a big
talking
picture
about?
of a pretzel on it.
People who don't have kids should be banned from
That
the
was
Disney
her
parks?
entire rant. And
There
how
are, there are a lot of
nice.
rides
Well, 'cause
at
the-
the Disney parks that would be
that kids
empty.
can't get on.
Yeah. Well, the reason why she said that, back to the pretzel thing, and I had to put 2 and 2 together. The reason why she went on this rant was because there were people in front of her kids in a line for a pretzel at Disneyland, and they sold out before her kid could have one.
That's the correlation.
So she went out and said, "Oh, my kid was so disappointed because of these people that don't have kids."
These
Well, you know what? Maybe
millennials.
raise your kid to not be disappointed by a missing pretzel. You know what I mean?
Mommy, mommy, pretzel.
Yeah. Well, that's how the world works. Sometimes somebody's in line ahead of you and they get it.
No, I want it now.
You shut up. You shut up, or I'm going to put you in the garbage. I'm going to take you and I'm going to put you in one of those automated garbage cans, and we'll never see you again. And you'll go to the Disney garbage.
You can't do that to me.
I can do whatever I want. I'm your father. I brought you into this world. I'll take you out of it.
Oh, I know who said that. We won't mention his name on this pod.
Oh.
Wasn't that from the Cosby Show? I remember a very famous Cosby Show where he says that to Theo.
I feel like that's something that a lot of parents have said to their kids.
I think they took it from this 1984 episode of the Cosby
Okay,
Show.
well, let's not mention him on the.
No,
I don't
let's
want
not.
anybody to come at us.
Nope.
Keep this in.
Okay, so let's do this. Retire me, because this attraction has to go away. Retire me. Put something else there someday.
I like this.
You like this?
You got it. You
wanna Weird Al this?
Half the sell of this podcast is like your physicality. Like
I
You're
agree.
dancing with the song.
Yeah.
Well, we can
He's
sing
got
it
like
on Insta
jazzy
later.
hands. I love it.
I'm doing some. I did a little something.
Not full jazz hands. Not like 10 out of 10 jazz
got
hands,
into
but
it.
like you got into
Like a
it.
3, which is not bad behind a
But like,
microphone.
but a sparkly 3.
Oh, thanks,
you know what I
buddy.
mean?
I
Like it
appreciate
wasn't
that.
like a half-hearted 3. It was like
Yeah.
no, there was heart there.
So our good friends at Theme Park Alchemy suggested that we do one at the Animal Kingdom, which we haven't done yet.
Okay.
Retired some attractions at Animal Kingdom. So who wants to go first? May I?
Of
Because
course.
I have the most obvious one.
I
And I'm
wish
going to
you
make
would.
things difficult for you guys.
Obviously, you're going to take away.
Prime Evil Whirl. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know,
low-hanging
it's
fruit.
killed 2 workers. There's that chestnut. It's an evil attraction. It even says evil kind of in the title.
I don't like
Get
this.
rid of it. I realize that there is a whole theme here. And if you've been to Dinoland USA, half of it is a proper dinosaur dig. So you have the science and technology and the excavation and all that stuff. And the other half is like a roadside attraction, like a ridiculous roadside attraction.
Yeah.
Which is just that, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before on the pod. If you know the story, of Beastly Kingdom,
Yeah.
which is the other land that the Animal Kingdom was going to build that had fictional creatures that they ran out of money, and there was 2 camps of Imagineers who were fighting over what they were going to do, and camp number 1 said, we can do this Dino Land thing really cheap. We can use the same ride from Indiana Jones and reskin it with these dinosaurs, and then we'll just put a bunch of cheap off-the-shelf carnival rides in this other one.
Sure.
What do you say, Mr. Eisner? And they greenlit that because the dinosaur film was coming out soon. So they trotted out this terrible land with this amazing attraction in it. Like Dinosaur, especially when it first came out, was the bomb diggity.
Okay.
Probably the biggest ride at the park.
Agree to disagree, but go on.
So you didn't ride it at the very beginning. That's why.
I rode it when I needed to ride it, and I think it's garbage.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just doing it to get you now.
You're getting me. It's working. But I would love to see them, and I'm sure it'll happen because not only has there been problems with injuries, I think that they're just, real estate wise, I think they're going to want to just use that area for something that is going to be more effective. At the time, they needed to do what they needed to do because they didn't have enough cash, and I get it. They made the best out of it. So let's fix that. I want to say real estate wise, this is perfect, but with Rafiki's Planet Watch about to die a miserable death, I think.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of real estate up there. But still, I hope they do the right thing and fix Dino Land, either make it Indiana Jones or really go for it and fix it, maybe something comparable to what the Jurassic World attractions offer, because you can do that. Like, kids love dinosaurs, and when they're that young, they're not going to get the difference between one from the Jurassic World movie or a dinosaur right in front of them. It's just a dinosaur. Hey, that's mine. How about you guys?
Yeah. I'll go. Yeah, sure. Because it ties in. I'm going to say get rid of dinosaur. I know. I
Hold on,
knew.
leap
I
at you
knew
from
it
across the table.
You could just build sound effects, man. You don't have to actually jump on me.
I just literally grabbed and shook microphones.
We have sound effects. No, it's fine.
We don't have sound effects this week. We're using a different board.
Yeah, but you can just add them in post,
Yeah,
man.
but then I got to do extra work. I don't want to do that.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, sorry. So tell
I'm
me why
really
you're going
just
to take
doing- I'm just
out
doing it- I'm just doing it to
arguably
get
my
your goat.
favorite ride. No, but tell me why you would get rid of it.
Well, I mean, because I ultimately I think it would just be better off as Indiana Jones.
So you're not really retiring the ride.
Okay, fine. Then I'll
You're
retire Cali
reskinning the
Rivers,
ride.
Cali River Rapids.
Well,
How
there you
about
go.
that?
See, I've
Is that better?
defended my turf.
Yes, you've done it successfully.
I stood very staunchly in front of the entrance and went, "None shall pass."
And I looked at you and went, okay, off
You
to
said,
off to
there's-
Cali River Rapids.
There's
Then.
like nobody in front of that gate.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to keep this ride? Nope. Okay.
Okay, there it is.
Tell us why.
Cali River Rapids.
Yeah.
There's not really anything to it, right? It just feels like a half done ride.
Well, there's a message there, right? There's a theme of an environmental message that
You're right. You're
clear
right.
cutting and whatnot in the Amazon.
You're right, and I just feel like the park has moved away from that.
Yeah.
It's moved away from having that message, which is a lovely message and needs to be out there, absolutely. But then maybe find another way to deliver it.
Is there? And I got to be honest. I hardly ever go on that ride because I don't want to get wet when I'm in Animal Kingdom.
Sure,
I'm just
okay.
not
You
ready for wet.
don't want to get wet, yeah.
Well,
Sure,
because you're going to get wet, and then you're going to go sit in a dinosaur or sit in the Bugs Life thing, and it's just going to be cold.
You're going to walk around the park and then whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Yeah.
And then they're going to sell you a $25 towel.
Yeah, I don't want that. So you typically don't go on that ride, but
When you actually look at the 10,000-foot view of Cali River Rapids, you
Yeah.
can see that half of the track was never built.
oh,
So there's actually a full expansion pad right behind, and it's when you go up into the section where the trees are burning and you're getting the sounds of the
Yeah,
chainsaws
yeah.
and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. There's actually a full background, like right back there.
is that the?
So
the
I'm
attraction?
showing Chris right now is the Google Maps view of Cali River Rapids and how much space is right in behind.
Oh yeah, there's
that
like
area.
a big empty.
All the more reason to wipe
Section.
it out. And,
Yeah.
to just
And make a-
is it ironic that I'm saying to wipe out the thing that's
clear
talking
cut.
about deforestation? I'm so
Some good
sorry.
trees that we could mow down and put some
Yeah,
concrete
get 'em
over
outta
there.
here, yeah.
I think there's a Universal Studios, and I want to say Singapore.
Sure.
There's a Jurassic Park ride that's like that. It's a what do you want to call those?
A raft ride?
A raft ride that has like a big dinosaur experience, and then there's. I think there's another one in Japan, or maybe it's in the China park. The
was
China,
gonna say, it's
excuse
in
me.
Shanghai?
Maybe it's in Shanghai. No, it might even be in Hong Kong. That has like this big alligator monster.
Yeah, that's Shanghai.
Is that Shanghai?
Yeah, Shanghai has the big alligator
Yeah,
monster.
yeah, very
I
cool.
can't remember what the ride vehicle is, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is a rafty.
I think it's this.
A rafty raft.
I think it's a rafty raft. And then you go
So-
into the thing, and then big
and
baddie
then the
comes.
big,
He's
big
"Arr."
giant crocodile
Yeah,
alligator
yeah,
type
that's
guy.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Now
seen him.
here's my question with Cali River Rapids. So you're saying retire that area.
I'm saying clear cut it. Actually,
Clear cut
is
it
what
like
I'm saying.
Oh, that's great. Do you have an idea as to what you would put into that? Or is it
literally,
anything?
just if you want to hammer home the message, just clear cut it and leave it as an empty space
or turn it into
that
like
we can all walk
a,
by and look at and
paper factory.
yeah, and everybody just so there's one cast member standing there crying, going, "This is our world." How about that? How about that for
that's funny.
a metaphor?
That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's brutal.
All right.
Thank you. That's what I
That's what
hope
you're
to hear
going
from
for.
all of my ideas.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's brutal.
Oh, it's just that you're clear cut. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I hear it a lot. I get it. I'm in a bad place.
No, you're not. You're in a good place. I don't disagree with this retiring attraction. How about you, Dustin?
All right. So I have two because
Oh.
it's part of the fun.
Okay.
So the controversial one is going to be Festival of the Lion King.
Oh.
Sounds so
Because
controversial to me.
as a show, it's run its path.
It's
It
funny
has-
because it was a
been
temp
around.
attraction, right?
And I understand it's a people eater. I understand that people love the movie Lion King. There's no need for it to still be as it is. They can do so much more with new technologies and such.
Well, it's just that we've seen it, really.
Yeah. So that's the one that I was originally thinking about. The one that I am going to officially say for my retirement,
Yeah.
and it's the most controversial one that I can pick, is Kilimanjaro Safaris.
Oh. Why?
So-
Good.
Here's
What?
the reason. Here's
Yeah,
the reason.
good.
I'll explain it. The idea behind Kilimanjaro Safaris
Mark just
originally.
walked away from the table. I think he's so disgusted that he's like, forget it. Good.
Get rid of it.
That ride kicks butt, kinda.
You're out of your mind.
Well, it was better kind of when they had the story.
Well, that's the point. Everyone remembers the story.
The story.
Wait. I'll just real quick one. The last time I rode that ride, I got big laughs, screaming, "Are those real animals?" I didn't come to a Disney park to see real animals. I want animatronic animals. Get these real animals out of here. And I was pretending to have a real fit, and everybody around me I was killing, let me tell you.
I think part of this podcast needs to be us going on attractions and having Mark perform, because it's the
Mark, do the thing where you complain about animatronic.
You can't force it. It came so naturally.
the
It was
Jurassic
moment, you
Park
know what I mean?
one,
It sounds very
the
organic.
River Adventure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
organic. You can't repeat. You can't bring that back. You know
That's
what I mean?
fair. Okay, so
But there's no telling what will happen next time.
it's true. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the story that they initially had on that ride and why it was taken away.
So the original story was all about how poaching and the element that the safaris themselves were being overrun with poachers, and you had this element of going out on a 2-week safari, and the safari itself was okay. We're gonna go out there. I'm your guide. I'm gonna take you through these things. Here's crocodiles, here's hippos, here's the bathing pool, here's all that. They brought a little bit of the Jungle Cruise into it.
Right.
But then you got to the point where there was the overhead Symbol 1 letting you know that there were poachers spotted in the area. And it was your role and responsibility to go and make sure that these poachers were taken to task, that they couldn't go out there and kill the elephants, that it wasn't about the ivory. You just wanted to make sure that these were not good people. You wanted to go out and get them. Well, if you look back on YouTube videos from the early parts of Kilimanjaro Safaris, there was the dead mom. The elephant
Yeah,
was
it was
a
a-
dead audio animatronic. And then they had the baby red in the back of a truck.
Yeah,
and that
this
was
is not-
also an audio animatronic.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, you actually had a cast member whose job it was to stand in front of the truck with a gun. And that was the whole idea of, we've got this. You guys go back to camp and just let everyone know, your 2-week safari just didn't go off
Yeah.
because we needed to protect.
If I can jump in, and I might be a little off with some of the information,
Sure.
but I think I'm around and about. When Michael Eisner rode the ride, he saw the dead mom and said, get rid of this. So we knew that there was a story about the poachers, and that remained. But one of the key things of that story was an element where there was literally a chase, and there was a moment where the vehicle would, instead of cruising this whole time, would peel around this bend, and you would see the actual poachers in their Jeep, like kind of above you. Basically, you would see them swooping beside you like you were racing them. They would veer off, and then you would find them upside down, like they flipped over. And then now the elephants were secure, and now both elephants are okay.
Yeah.
They never killed the mom. It was just the poachers are coming, and they got both of them.
Yeah.
And that was, even still, that was exciting, and it took away the element of the dead mother, which was terrible. But now, since then, they've
Dead
taken
mom, what is this? Bambi?
Well,
what is this?
What is this? Every Disney movie?
It's one of my favorite jokes in the Frozen Ever After.
So with that, now they've eliminated the chase. There isn't even that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's literally like, oh, there's poachers. Look out, look out. Oh, hey, we got them. Everything's cool. Don't worry about it. There's no.
They don't even talk about poachers anymore.
Oh,
so
really?
it's become a wildlife romp. Huh. Literally, you're going
That's
through.
what they should call it.
Well,
Wildlife romp.
Kilimanjaro wildlife romp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going through and they're like, here's the hippos, and this is
So
why.
why do you think they made that choice?
You know what? It's a story thing that.
What do you mean? Why did they make the choice to take all that stuff out?
I think the poaching is
Dude.
still a major problem
Yeah.
in Africa.
Absolutely.
So I think it's
There's a lot of
it's
problems.
poignant. I think that once you kind of eliminate the thing where kids are seeing a dead elephant,
Yeah.
and you're still having the idea
Joe
that,
Rohde, what a
that there are
mind.
bad people out there. That
But then
there is
again, look
there is
in
an
Jungle
active,
Cruise.
There's an active moment.
Yeah.
But it's different from the Jungle Cruise. There's an
the
active
sleeping
moment.
zebra.
Well, okay, hold on.
Right.
All right. That's
He's
different.
just sleeping. Yeah.
But we're talking about you're in a world where on the Jungle Cruise everything's fake. When you go to Kilimanjaro safaris, everything's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so you could see how a kid would be confused.
Oh, for sure.
So if in this case, you still at least had this active moment where you felt like you were engaged in the action of the story,
Yep.
and then it was resolved, and now we can go live our
Well, and
lives.
there were beats throughout the entire thing, like the bridge that when you drove onto it, it would actually sink, and then it would do a little jiggle, and then you would drive off it to kind of set your expectation of, oh, this isn't just going to be another drive around to see animals.
Yeah.
Where I think they made the mistake is they first off didn't go out and get new sponsors or update the attraction. It's still one of the worst queue lines to ever be in.
It's hot.
It's
hot.
It's the worst fast pass merge point of any of the attractions
Why is
within.
it like really?
It's really far back.
Oh, so it's not even worth it.
It's not even worth it.
Bummer.
So there's a lot of elements that go into why I think this attraction should be retired. I like the idea of the safari. I do. I just think if you're going to do it, they've made story their entire business.
Right.
So do it right. Wrapping up, because at the end of the day, Disney's Animal Kingdom is still one of my favorite theme parks at Disney World. I can spend hours just walking around and looking
it's
at the
beautiful.
details.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's hot. It's not a place that you want to be midday. At the end of the day, let's talk about what you guys think. So if you guys have an idea about not just a retire me for a future segment, but what would you retire? If you had the choice to retire something in Disney's Animal Kingdom as an attraction, what would you do?
Rafiki Planet Watch. Rafiki Planet Watch. Rafiki Planet Watch.
Yeah.
Rafiki Planet Watch. All right. Well, there you go. That was a long one. Retire me. So we retired.
Retire me.
Retire me. Even the Safari Kilimanjaro. Retire me. Although Bondo hates to see you go. All right, guys. Well, the last thing we're going to do on this podcast today is another exciting edition of the King of the Castle.
King of the Castle.
All right, King of the Castle time. This is exciting, guys. This is exciting. Do you guys realize that since episode 19, Dustin has been the champion?
That's it?
It's a long streak.
This is a long reign as champion.
It's been okay.
He's not happy with his
Okay.
reign. He's not happy with his reign,
Well,
everybody.
let's be honest. I look at the King of the Castle similar to Goldberg. When you go through, 200 and something defenses, then it's fine. But I'm at, 6? Yeah, I'm okay
I would
with it.
say this is 4.
Yeah, because it was Amanda
You
Barker.
beat me for the title.
Yeah.
Then you defended against Amanda
Yeah.
in the Disney Springs food pod.
Yeah.
And then you defeated Marty Adams in the Halloween Horror Nights Mickey Not So Scary pod.
Yeah.
And then this would be your
This
fourth.
is fourth. Yeah, it's
your
not
fourth
that big of
challenge.
a-
But it's been since the 19th episode. So literally, it's been 2 months that you've been champion. It's incredible.
You know.
My hat tipped off to you, sir. So that's right, Dustin. It has been 3 defenses, and this is exciting.
Yeah.
So the only person you have not beat in your title reign is Mark Andrada. And
Today's the day.
today is the day. that
Today
you're
is
gonna
not the day.
put up that
'cause-
goal. It's not your birthday anymore, homie. You can't run. You can't hide.
What do you mean? I put the title up on my birthday. You made me.
Well, you did. It's true. You did. But you tried to dodge it.
I tried. It didn't work.
I thought we were gonna do it. You picked your own segments and you were like, we could do King of the Castle, but we won't. So you dodged it. But truthfully, I didn't have anything prepped. So there's that. There's that element.
There
too.
is that.
There was that. But today, Bondo's got something ready. And you know what? Before we get this thing started, let me tell you what it's going to be today. Our good friend Todd Bovington, friend of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Good
Who
friend.
just recently went to the Disney World Resort.
Yes.
And is a professional sound guy. And
Yes.
I've actually worked with him on film. He was a sound guy in a movie.
Really?
Like a real movie with a real budget.
What movie?
A Little Bit Zombie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a great movie.
Yeah. So we were in like Sudbury for like a month together.
Right on.
Shooting this film, battling mosquitoes. It was a fun time.
Hmm.
And Todd went around, and we already know Todd from all the hidden magic segments that we just started rolling out, and we have more of those, and we thank you for those, Todd. But Todd also decided to do a King of the Castle for us and get unique sounds around the Walt Disney Resort. I will just say I believe they're all in the theme park. Let's just say resort, keep it broad.
Okay.
Okay. And the game we're going to play today that Todd has built for us is Where Am I?
Okay.
So you're going to listen to this sound and you're going to tell us where we are.
Okay.
All right. It's that simple.
And are we
it's-
taking turns, or is it just whoever buzzes in kind of thing? Whoever answers
Well,
first?
I don't know. How do you want to do it? We're going to listen to the sound. You want to write it on a piece of paper and we'll see who guesses right. I think you could just blurt it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's just a place. It's not like build off an answer. Either you know where we are or you don't.
Exactly.
Make sense?
Sure.
All right, guys. Friends. Here it begins. Okay. Question 1. Where am I?
Adventureland?
You're outside the tiki room.
I'm going to give it to Dustin. It is under the sign at Adventureland. It's right
Okay.
outside the Adventureland sign.
Nice.
So Dustin gets the first one. Could you guys hear that clearly?
Yeah. It was great.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. Okay, guys. So here's number 2. Question number 2. Where, oh, where am I?
You're on the people mover.
Incorrect.
Okay. You're on.
Spaceship Earth?
Nope.
Okay,
These
I
are
got
all
another
good
one.
guesses.
I got
though.
another one.
Yeah.
You're on the Tomorrowland Speedway.
You are not. I'll play it again. Keep guessing.
I don't think it's in Magic Kingdom.
This is in the
I think it's
resort.
doing
in
a bit.
Epcot. Oh, is it 20 questions? Is it in Epcot?
Nope, we're not playing that game. We're playing King of the Castle.
All right, so it sounds. There's no charge for reinstalling speakers.
Oh, someone's listening to the thing.
So where do they have is it here? Let's. It's also something that's it's not Carousel of Progress. Oh, is it Tower of Terror?
Incorrect.
Again. Oh,
You got it?
yeah.
What is it?
Test track.
No, it's Sci-Fi Dine-In.
Sci-Fi
Sci-Fi
Dine-In.
Dine-In.
Excellent
Of course it
job, Dustin. Wow, that was great.
That was
what
a
gave it
tough
away?
one.
Well, yeah, it was a tough one.
It was the speakers on the side of the car.
That's
I
right.
finally heard that.
Yeah, these aren't easy, guys.
No,
Some of them
absolutely.
you have-
That was
no, I like
very
it.
Hey,
difficult.
but you guys are okay? You can hear everything?
Oh, yeah,
all right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, great job, guys. Okay, here's the next one. This is question number 3. Here we go.
Oh, Frontierland shooting gallery.
Correct. The
Nice. Very
Frontierland
fast.
Shooting Gallery. Dustin, wow. Oh, this might be quite the title defense.
I'm
Dustin,
telling you,
nice
yeah.
work.
I told you today's the day.
Today's the day. Okay, guys. Wow. So, Dustin, you're kicking butt so far. But you know what? I'm confident Mark is going to come right back because Mark always.
Carousel of
comes back.
Progress.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, Dustin knows it already. Just say it.
He's showing off.
Yeah, just say it. I don't want the mercy round.
Mark, come on.
Come on.
Jump in.
It's the fireworks.
Which one?
The fireworks one.
Which one?
The end of just recent.
Phantasmic.
Incorrect.
Go on. It's illuminations, reflections of Earth.
Dustin again. Illuminations,
See,
reflections of
that's
Earth.
not fair though, because I listened to that show over 300 times when I worked down there.
All right.
So
Well, that's fair. Well, maybe I'll just.
Yeah,
stop
where's
doing
Carousel
it.
of Progress? What's going on?
it's
Okay.
a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
You know, Todd got what he got. okay?
Welcome to the Carousel of Progress. It's a Carousel of Progress.
All right, guys. Here's the next one. You ready?
'Kay.
Here we go.
It's the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular.
The epic, Indiana Jones and the epic stunt spectacular. Great job, Mark. I'm gonna give an applause. Applause. He's back. He's
well
back.
done.
He's back. It's 5-1. I'm not.
No, it's not.
Don't call it a comeback.
First of all, it's 4-1.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And there's plenty of opportunity to come back. This is a tricky one, guys. But I know that the guys around this table are the guys to get this answer because we are Disney nerds.
It's in Hollywood Studios. Is it Sunset Boulevard?
Incorrect, but very close.
Because it's in the. It's not Great Movie Ride because that's gone. Is it either like the entrance or the exit for not Phantasmic, not Tower of Terror, the Beauty and the Beast?
Incorrect.
It's the front entrance of movie studios, Hollywood.
What's it called?
The
MGM
Main
Studios.
Street, USA.
What's the Main Street USA of Hollywood Studios called?
I don't remember, man. Main Street, USA.
Incorrect.
No, it's at the corner of Sunset and Vine. No, what's the
Hollywood Boulevard.
Thank you, Mark Andrada, Hollywood Boulevard. He didn't need me to make a face. Going, that's close. Hollywood Boulevard is the correct answer.
Okay.
Fun, right, guys?
Yeah.
It's tricky. Got to listen to the music.
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
listen to
having
the
a great
hubbub.
time, yeah. I'm kidding. I'm having a great time.
What a yutz. You know how long it took me to edit all these?
No, it's awesome. This is awesome.
All right. Okay, here's the next one, guys. And
Okay.
Mark, you should get this one.
I'm ready. It's Phil Her Magic.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Muppet Vision.
Muppet Vision 3D.
that's,
Dustin.
oh, of course it is.
Even Miss Piggy was in there going, "You'll hear from my lawyer."
Yeah.
And that was I
thought that was the end. I thought I heard Donald Duck. That's
I
why.
on purpose did that clip because remember how we talked about it and I said I always get surprised when Sweetums comes out.
Yeah.
That's when Sweetums comes out.
Right.
You stop the movie. Stop the movie. Sweetums underrated as a Muppet. My other favorite Muppet.
I know a guy who was Sweetums.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I can't remember which movie it was, but he was Sweetums in one of them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, in the movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bruce
wow.
Hunter apparently was Sweetums.
Wow.
Yeah, if you know Bruce.
Do you know my? Anyone can guess my favorite Muppet real quick in like 5 seconds? while this
Gonzo.
loads? Incorrect.
Sweetums.
Nope. It is the Swedish Chef. And here we go with the
Did
next.
it work?
He work. Okay, and here is the next one. This
Puppety
is
corn.
question number 8. And for every if you're scoring yourself at home and you're doing better than Dustin, let us know.
Oh, Carousel of Progress.
Incorrect.
People
No.
Mover.
Thank
No?
you. It's the People Mover.
Yeah.
People Mover. Great job, Mark. Wow, this is going to become a barn burner. I love it. I love it when these ones are close. All right, guys. Here is question number 9 coming right at you.
Carousel of Progress.
Incorrect. Okay.
Gosh darn it.
Guys,
Soren.
you guys are doing great. Incorrect. Okay, so I want to know where am I?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Studio C. As you enter the studio, please continue moving all the way down across the floor, filling in all available space.
Oh, it's Rock and Roller Coaster, the pre-show.
pre-show room for the Rock and Roller Coaster. Great job, Dustin. Well done.
Good call, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's keep this party rolling, guys. Everyone's doing great. Wow, good job. You got that quick.
I've spent way too much time in that queue line.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because if you're a single rider, you walk right through. But if you're like doing the regular fast passer stuff, you have to sit there and watch. You have to listen to it. It's so outdated. The references are very awkward if you know where to look.
Have you seen the story about the finger?
Yeah.
We talked about that before.
That's what I was kind of referencing
CGI'd
without fully saying.
Oh, I know. The finger?
Yeah.
You're like, I was trying to do that
I was
in a
trying
much
to
more polite way. Here is your next clue. And here we go. Both of you guys can get this because you're both smart and handsome gentlemen.
Something is about to happen here that will change the future forever.
Philharmagic.
Oh, Spaceship Earth.
There you go.
Spaceship Earth is it. Dustin. Dustin is doing great.
I said Spaceship Earth like 3 questions ago. I think I said it first. So
You did say it much earlier. Okay, here we go. Here's our next one, friends.
Okay.
Tell us, where are we?
Living with the Land.
Living with the Land. I was going to say Living with the Land too. Yeah.
Incorrect.
Jungle
Living
Cruise.
Incorrect.
Tiki Room.
Outside of the, it's the jumping fountains.
Incorrect.
Backside of water.
Incorrect.
Jurassic Park?
Splash Mountain.
It is right outside of Splash Mountain. Correct, Mark,
call.
with the answer. Yep, that's just standing right outside those.
Gave it
storms.
away the scream and then the splash, and that justified what that other sound was. It was just the water going.
It's just the water going the whole time. That's right. Okay, this is the last one I got, guys. Okay. And we'll add them up and we'll see who the victor is. But this is an easy one.
Don't make it sound like there's a question here.
You never know. Here we go.
This is outside the Tiki Room.
That's correct. It's the Tiki God pre-show for the Tiki Room. Mark, let's count this up. Let's see. Oh my goodness!
I think, to be fair, I think everything's either outside the Tiki Room
or Adventureland
or Carousel of Progress. I can't believe Carousel of Progress wasn't in that list.
I know, right?
It was not. Sorry, I didn't get that from Todd. And the winner with a score of 7-5, still a close one. Dustin Fuhs remains the King of the Castle champion.
I've been robbed.
Why? Because there was no Carousel of Progress.
There was no Carousel of Progress, obviously. So I was robbed.
Shame, for shame. Well, that's directed right at you, Todd Bovington. Why did you not get some Carousel of Progress?
No, Todd's in Dustin's pocket. I get it. I know what's going on.
Oh, come on.
No, Dustin's been paying off Todd. Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
So how does it feel to be a 4-time champ?
That game was really fun.
That was
it
fun.
A good one. It was a good
Yeah.
one. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd, and congratulations to Dustin. That's 4 in a row, and we're just going to have to figure some other way we can challenge you. We've been trying food. We've been trying haunted mazes. We've been trying sounds. What next? Who knows?
We're going to bring in a ringer.
Oh.
I don't know who that would be. I made it sound so ominous, but I have nobody in my pocket.
If you are a ringer, if you're that Jeopardy champion that's just hiding under a rock.
We did kind of already do that with Amanda and food.
Oh, yeah. Amanda with
and
food,
because it wasn't just a general trivia, it was
specifically
food. And then Marty with horror.
You know, he makes a good point.
Don't
Dustin's
call
just
Marty
good.
that.
Dustin's just good news. Well, I think this is a good spot to wrap up the show.
That was great.
Congratulations again, Dustin, for being the champion. We'll see how we can beat you in another way.
Well, now's when we need that sound pad to hit the applause.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
applauso. Well, we have to go buy that thing. I think we're going to go do that now. We're going to go look at it. Mark, thank you for being great and handsome as always, and thanks to you all for listening.
It's a tough job, dude.
Yeah, well, one of you guys, one of us has to be the good-looking one.
I wake up real early every morning.
How does it feel to be the looker on this table?
Yeah.
That's a sad state
table.
of affairs, man.
By the way, we haven't pointed out the fact that I'm now 25 for 25 on shirts.
He is. Dustin is wearing an "I'm a Foolish Mortal" T-shirt.
Available on TeePublic.
Available on TeePublic. Check it out. I'm still waiting on Condor Man. Condor Man.
That may happen in November.
That's not a song like this.
That's how his song. But I have
Is
to
there
sing.
really a song?
You want me to play it?
No, I really don't.
It's the score is really good. It's
I
by
believe you. I'm
somebody
just
super
giving you a hard
famous.
time.
All right. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. If you enjoyed the show, hey, tell somebody about it, or feel free to rate, review, all that fun stuff. But be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun. You can also check us out on the Instagram. Hey, we got a lot of followers on Instagram, almost 4,000. We're
Yay.
kicking butt at We Like Theme Parks, or you can email us directly at ideas@welikthemeparks.com. We love that. If you want to do mailbags, if you want an Insta shout out, the more you engage with us, the more we'll engage with you. We love it like that. Music for the We Like Theme Parks podcast was composed and provided by Mike Treblecock. Check him out at miketreblecockmusic.com. That's it, folks. We'll see you real soon.
Why?
Because
We
Like
you.
and
Theme Parks.
we like theme park. You forgot the we like part.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I screwed it up. It's on me. It's on me this time. Bye.